Greetings, dear Libra. This one is for you. Hello, that's you. It's your August 29 report from Tarot Illumination with Love. Okay, we're going to use the Tarot Illumination Crucible spread. We'll get that in a little while. Uh, if you're a regular, just, fast forward to the reading if you want, but I'm going to check in just in case there's newcomers. First of all, let me just do the bit with the astrodoodle, okay? I just want to share this because I use this a lot in personal readings, okay? So this is the general data. You could get this from an ephemeris or from NASA or whatever, okay? I'll just scroll through it really fast like this, and you can pause if you want to actually get any of the details out of here. I'm just sharing it with you because this is my super compressed uh, data for the whole month, and it's just my reference point, okay? I'm just going to highlight a few things, okay, that we're going to look at over here in just a moment on your own personal astrodoodle. So at the very beginning of the month, at the very end of July, July 31st, August the 1st, we have the energy of the new moon in Leo, 8 degrees. It's a stellium, okay? Bunch of planets there, Sun, Venus, Mars, okay? And moon. So it's kind of a big deal, okay? Lucky for you, Libra, the Leo energy is very harmonious for you. We'll see in a moment, okay? Next thing, we have the full moon in Aquarius, 22 degrees later in the month, 15th, okay? Then later on, the sun enters Virgo, okay? That goes into your 12th house. And it piles up into a humongous stellium, okay, over here around the 30th and 31st, and another new moon in a calendar month, this particular calendar month of August. So we have two new moons. There's probably a fancy word for it. Okay, so let's get into it. I'll show you. You got Mars, Venus, Sun, Mercury, and the moon all piled up there. That is a lot of energy in Virgo. Okay, so this is kind of what it looks like for you. This is the Tarot Illumination Astrodoodle. Yes, I know it's a work of art. It should be in a Getty museum or a gallery somewhere, but these are ephemeral. They don't last very long. And it's not a real chart, okay? It's just my impression for the whole month. I'm just cherry picking, highlighting things and marking a few dates. There's a lot of other stuff happening. I'm just going for the big vibes, all right? There is you Libra, on the horizon. Over here, this is the 7th house of other, the significant other, okay? And I put a little squiggle there because I'm following the moon closely for you, Libra, this month because of the cardinal axis. You're one of the cardinal signs: Libra, Capricorn, Cancer, Aries. And we just came out of the eclipses in July, these cardinal eclipses over here with the Capricorn Cancer axis, and it's still very strong, okay? It looks like it's fading here, but it's actually still very strong because the ripple effects from an eclipse go on for a long, long time. Long time. Okay, so I'm marking that here. And because the eclipses are very much to do with the moon, and you're going to be affected through this month. So I noted some particular dates. I know it's kind of a little over the top, but for you, Libra, I felt it was okay. Very early in the month, okay? Uh, August the 5th, the moon's in Libra, okay? A little bit later, the moon is in Capricorn. A little bit later, the 19th, the moon is in Aries. A little bit later, the 26th, the moon is in Cancer. At each of those hot spots, I would like to just let you know that things could feel a little, you know, I would think of the energy of fearful, like, because the moon energy, from the way I interpret it, people tend to feel things. And in these conflicted angles here, because these are hard angles to you, you might feel it as fear, like you might be like a little uncomfortable at these particular periods during the month. So the whole month might feel a little bit uncomfortable for you. The good thing, of course, is that for at least 2/3 of the month, you have all this sweet stuff going on with the Leo Aquarius energy, okay? because the Leo energy and the Aquarius energy is very harmonious for you. So we're going to look at that next, okay? We have the Leo new moon over here, okay? Let's just call it August 1st, even though it's actually the stelliums and the eclipse, the new moon's on the 31st of July. No matter. Doesn't matter. So it's like there's a huge new moon right here in your 11th house. So it's a very harmonious energy for you. Over here in the 11th house, we would be considering new starts and new beginnings, about like your place in this world in terms of like community. What are you offering to the community? How are you shining your light in the community? How can you bring love, light, entertainment, joy, happiness to others in this in the place of community? Okay? So that's happening right here. And then you might not know what that means at that time, but I think you'll have much more understanding at the full moon, which is in Aquarius over here, August 15th, right in the middle of the month. And then you'll realize, oh my gosh, I see why people dig me, why people love me, why I love my community, why my community loves me. So I see this as a very, even though the moon is over here in your fifth house of like true love and romance, creative self-expression and creativity and all that stuff, I see this as a very like a humanitarian, platonic kind of energy where it's about love, love of people, love of the people who love you. Okay, new starts and new beginnings there. And how does that translate for you in your day-to-day life? I have to talk about the eclipses from July here, even though it's kind of faded away. Because it's in a really um, like a critical part of your chart, the fourth house and the 10th house. So there are still a lot of rumblings and shakings going on here at the foundations of your life. Okay, we got Pluto and Saturn still here, and for a long time to come. And it's like the energy of very deep, slow moving tectonic plates. Okay, this is one tectonic plate, this is the other. Now you know what happens on tectonic plates, they kind of go like this. That's what happens. But this is happening continuously. It's like it's a continuous, let's say the split already happened in 2008, right there, and it kind of went like this. So now it's grinding through. Okay, one tectonic plate on top of the other. And this is affecting the very foundations of your home, the place where you sleep, your family, your loved ones. All of that is shifting irrevocably down here. And that has an impact on your life in the world on the outside. These changes are so deep, so slow and profound, you might not sense them happening, but it is happening anyway, and it's having an impact on how you are like conducting yourself in the world. Okay, because Cancer rules your 10th house. How caring are you in the world? Your responsibility is to be very Cancerian, like very caring, very compassionate, uh, in terms of like your career. I mean, Libras, you can do all sorts of things, obviously, but the Cancer energy that was here in July, yes, technically it's fading, but that eclipse is still lingering. So this axis, okay, is still reverberating. You can watch the July reports for that, but I mean, that's excessive. But anyway, next, gosh, this is a long recording. So anyway, Virgo, we've got this new moon Virgo stellium right at the very tippy end of the month. And the sun is coming into Virgo on the 23rd. Okay, I'll just show you. Right over here on the 23rd. It's a huge Virgo pileup. And for you, Libra, that's happening over here in your 12th house. So if towards the end of the month you start feeling very kind of queasy and unsettled and very uncomfortable, that would be okay. That would be normal. Okay? Because the 12th house represents your house of self-undoing, the ends of the endings. Okay? And so it's starting to hint into there because September is when we go into the September reports, you're going to notice this more about how you're going to be aware of anything and everything that you might call self-sabotage, everything that you've been shoveling and burying into your psychic basement, your psychic kitchen drawer, your spiritual dumpster, your spiritual trash bags, and because of the things that you can't handle, it's going to be extremely lit up. And you know what happens with tarot illumination. You've got to reveal it to heal it. So it's going to be very, very, very significantly revealed. New starts and new beginnings here. And it's just potentially very uncomfortable for you. It's like the heavens and energy and angels want you to know everything about yourself that's not working so that you have a chance to heal it. But you have to identify it, you have to name it before you can heal it. You've got to reveal it to heal it. So it's starting towards the end of the month, okay? So I'm just giving you a heads up, okay? Don't blame tarot illumination, blame the planets. Let's blame the planets, all right? Let's get on with your cards. Gosh, that was long, I'm sorry. So we're going to use the tarot illumination crucible spread. It's on the understanding that there's you, Libra. There are significant others in your life, perhaps a particular one, and someone very special. But I'm going for a broader perspective now, okay? The crucible spread is designed with tarot illumination on the understanding that there's you, Libra, there is a significant other, and then there's a third living entity. It has a life, energy, purpose, and mission of its own, a flow like a life of its own. And you guys own it, whether you like it or know it or not. And the sooner you become aware of it, the much more, the happier you have the chance to be, because you can discover a lot more about what's working and what's not working. Relationships, as you know, Libra, are fundamental to life. You would know more than anybody. And because in relationships, there are certain things that can only happen in relationship. Things like procreation, the making of children, a marriage, loving and being loved, then the healing power of love, and the vibrational energy healing that can happen between one person and another in the context of relationship. Sometimes relationships are very traumatic and very challenging, but it's still a learning environment. Sometimes they're very beautiful things, and it's still a learning environment. So let's bless the cards, bless this whole deck, bless you, Libra. Singles, you can watch this if you want, but you have to allow for the laws of attraction. What are you radiating, and then what's coming back at you? Watch for your sun, moon, and rising, Libra. Also, I would ask you to basically, I keep saying it, invite your invisible friends. Get your angels to help you. Ask for them. Reach out, ask for them to surround you, help you, okay? Be with you in this experience, okay? Hands over heart, a few deep breaths, and let's go for it, okay? What are you radiating? This would be you, Libra, in your day-to-day world. What are you radiating? Think of yourself like a smartphone. You're sending signals, you're receiving signals. Over here, what about the other? This is not a couple's reading, okay? There's you and there's your co-star, but it's all really about you. Deep down inside of you, deep down inside of the other, and at the core, the relationship itself. So I'm hoping you can see that this is the crucible. Crucible is a bowl type structure. It's a very strong bowl. They use them in laboratories to conduct high-powered alchemical reactions, which is just the same thing that happens in a human relationship, okay? So what is the nature of your crucible? You guys own this. Think of it as a potted plant if you want. And then what are you nurturing? What is the nature of the pot of the plant? Okay, is it cracked and broken? Is it strong, flexible, durable, healthy? Over here, what is growing out of this thing? Over here, you're surrounded by weather. I like to blame the planets. I like to think of the weather as the planets and all their gravitational movements and their sacred geometry. But you could think of it as friends, family, job, career, anything that you want that impacts you, that you would feel like the weather. So let's start. We have the Seven of Pentacles here. So with the Seven of Pentacles, my feeling is that it's just a very, very gentle, very hug kind of reminder type energy to you, Libra, from your angels from heaven, that It's very, very important right now to take stock of your situation. To me, this feels like a really serious heads up for what's coming in September, okay? Because the pressure is going to, I mean, we start off very nicely for you, Libra, in August, but towards the end, things might feel kind of sickly, okay? And that would be normal because you would be coming to the end of a whole solar cycle for Libra, and then we come into those reports in October. Okay, so for now, this is like a really like a long-term weather forecast note here, like ding ding, Libra, please pay attention. There are a lot of issues and subjects and matters that are going to have to be attended to down the road. Okay, you have all your gifts, your talents, and resources, everything that's measurable in your life, in your world. Things like love, home, family, relationships, assets, talents, gifts, resources, and of course, everything that's not working, where it's all tied up in weeds and knots and vines that don't belong there because it hasn't been tended properly, or it's overgrown, or it's just not uh, in that healthiest condition. And just like a good farmer would do, you're inspecting your crops, your world, and you're realizing, oh my gosh, we have a lot of pruning to do. We have a lot of tucking to do. Just imagine it's like a grapevine or something, okay? And everything needs real, real careful pruning and tucking and management, okay? Energy management. You have to know what is wrong. You have to know what is not working before you can fix it. Okay, that's sort of like you got to reveal it to heal it. All right, that's what we do a lot on this channel. So with the Seven of Pentacles here, it's a very strong message that there's going to come a time, it's coming upon you now, Libra, where you're going to have to pay attention and start getting prepared to do the pruning and the work, the cleansing, the refining, the purifying. And by the way, that coincides very nicely with the huge wall of retrogrades that we still have. We're going to have Uranus retrograde. We still have Pluto and Saturn retrograde. And we have Neptune retrograde over here. So that's a lot of big retrogrades. You think Mercury retrograde is something? You wait till you go to the outer planets. You're talking about deep, deep subcurrents that you can hardly detect on the surface of your life. But they're happening anyway. And I think that's what's happening here. The very deep, subtle movements of the tectonic plates of your life are starting to send signals like, we need to take care of things here. Okay, Libra? Okay, let's get started. What are you radiating? Okay, so some people see this as a card of satiation, okay? Like almost like overdoing it, like being happy, having so much fun, like it's over the top, okay? Some people see this as like a card of wishes, a card to wish, like you've got what you want. And there is a deep sense of contentment here. It can be very, very satisfying. Let's say you resonate very strongly with this Leo energy as it starts to build through the month, and you're really enjoying the Libra, the Leo new moon, excuse me, the Leo new moon, and things become more and more clear towards the full moon in Aquarius, towards the middle of the month. You can almost gloat. You can almost say, you know what? I haven't done too badly. I've got as much love as I can handle. I'm as loving as I can be. What more could anybody wish for? I've got that. Well, you might want more. We don't know yet. But that's part of the evolution. So I think, you know, what we were talking about here with the tectonic plates, I think there's such a huge shift over here in the foundations of your life. It's so deep, it's so profound that you almost can't describe it or put words to it, but it is affecting you. This reverberates through your whole, this is the foundation of your chart, okay? This reverberates through everything, like ripple effects through everything. You just had the eclipse here, you just had the eclipse here. So that's what I think is happening with this and this. So you almost kind of get this delicious feeling of, you know, job well done. Job well done, Libra. I survived another shift in the tectonic plates, and I'm going to grow into it. I'm going to become more and more Cancerian in the way I conduct myself in terms of my like destiny, my career, my place in this world, becoming more and more compassionate to those and others around me who depend on me for my leadership. Okay, so that's a very noble thing. Okay, but it's hard to keep doing that all day, every day. And so, luckily, with the Leo new moon over here, that kind of gives you a lift. So, it gives you the courage and the heart and the generosity and the kindness and the fun, like to be with your people, selflessly. And you're enjoying that, but deep down, knowing that you still got work to do. There's a lot of work to do, but that's okay. We could look at next month for that, and we can blame all that on the planets. Meantime, what about the other? Okay, so with the death card here, I hope the death card word that I'm saying here doesn't trigger some kind of community guideline strike against this channel, because this channel is having incredible challenges behind the scenes, and I don't want to rant on it too much, but I've heard of other channels having the same thing, and when they use certain catchwords, it crushes the channel. So I'm hyper paranoid about using certain words. But anyway, this is the DEHTH card. And so, dear Libra, you might be in a relationship dynamic with a certain particular significant someone who is going through profound, deep, radical transformation, okay? At the very pit of their soul. This is irreversible. It might be something to do with the eclipses. I'm thinking this is very connected to the Pluto energy. Again, over here, whoever this represents to you, a pet, a loved one, a mother, a father, a spouse, a child, whatever it is, there are profound, deep, slow, irreversible transformations happening in them and their life and their world. And that could easily relate to here in your fourth house. In other words, part of the huge shifts and changes that are happening in the foundations of your life and world could be felt and experienced through a significant other who is actually going through the profound changes themselves, and that is impacting you. Like that person represents one of the tectonic plates. In other words, this could be the other person as a tectonic plate. This could be you, and this is what's happening. Now, how that translates into your life, that's up to you. Over here, what about deep down inside of you? So with the Seven of Cups, this could almost feel like, to me, it feels like delirium. So to me, it feels like there's something that's going on that's really, really sweet and good for you, uh, but you don't know how to handle it. Okay? It's almost like be careful of what you wish for. You're getting what you wish for, but it's happening in a way that you could never have possibly imagined. And that's wigging you out. Like, what exactly did I wish for? And what's that turning into? Maybe what you ever considered love is starting to have a different definition now. And that's really disturbing for you. And again, I think that relates very much to this. I think the Nine of Cups over here and the Seven of Pentacles over here is very much related to your day-to-day life, about how like you've done an awesome job of getting it together just to get this far, and how much you are deeply appreciated in the broader community, deeply, deeply loved, okay? And that will be reflected back to you, I believe, in a kind of platonic way, okay, from the Aquarius moon towards the middle of the month. And then that translates into you like, well, wait a minute. What about like good old fashioned love life, like, how they talk about in a romance novel or a lovey dovey movie, or, just you know, romance, true love, and everything. So I mean, I know it's not a very normal interpretation for this card, Libra, but that's what I'm sensing over here. What I'm sensing is that at the deep soul level, you are observing your loved ones, or particularly maybe a particular loved one, going through like radical shifts and transformations that are very perplexing for you. And it's like there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that it's very perplexing. There's so much love here, okay, Libra? Let's not deny that. It's just that what does it actually mean now? How are you going to start defining love in the future? So I think over the next few months, this is going to make a lot more sense. This might feel like a very bizarre reading to you right now, but what I'm feeling is that because of the eclipses on the hard angles there, your fourth and 10th house, and with all that stuff piling up in Virgo towards the end, it's the all this lovely, loving energy which you're enjoying early in the month is going to morph into something like, oh, it's beautiful, like, oh, okay, wait a minute, and that's part of your evolutionary journey. Okay, it doesn't mean you're going to go out and get drunk and get stoned and self-medicate to try and deal with the stresses. I mean, you can if you want, but I don't think that's, appropriate or healthy, and you probably would agree, even though you might be tempted. What about the other? Okay, so I do see this as a very platonic thing here. I think this is a very beautiful, beautiful energy that the significant other is radiating, and they are sharing that with you from the depths of their heart, the depth of their soul, literally as a soulmate. Look at all the cups here, okay? I think that there's a lot of love, Libra, between you and a significant other, but they are going through profound, radical changes where things become more and more platonic and at the same time more and more loving. But the definition of love is going to change for you, Libra, and that might be very confusing for you. How do you define love now with in general for your life? How would you define love in general, but with a particular person as well? Okay. I think they have nothing but love for you, want nothing but the best for you. Okay? However, they're part of this story. And remember, this is not a couple's reading, it's all about you. And they might be sensing that you have a lot of work to do on yourself, okay, in order to evolve and grow here and capitalize on the energies of the eclipses and this really big Leo energy thing we talked about earlier, and the big Virgo energy that's coming in later on. Okay, and so it's like they're there for you, but they're not going to stop their life. They're not going to stop changing and shifting and growing and evolving for you. Okay, they're just being who they are, and they're coming from love at the very, very deepest core. It might be very disorienting for you. So the next few months might be a little bit weird, okay? But you'll come out okay because you're going to have your moment of glory when you get into Libra season. What about at the core here? Okay, so with the Wheel of Fortune here, my feeling is that please understand, Libra, everything is exactly as it should be. Why is that so? Because it cannot be any other way. Everything, even though it might be very disorienting for you, like one minute you're totally like drunk on happiness, the next minute you're completely stoned and confused and dazed on happiness and love because you don't fully understand it. I mean, how can anybody fully understand what's happening with the shift in tectonic plates until the big shift is over? And for you, Libra, the big shift really isn't over until Pluto moves out of Capricorn into Aquarius, which is going to be much more harmonious for you. So you're still dealing with a lot of like deep, rumbling, uncomfortable tectonic shifts here at the foundations of your life. And that's normal, okay? Blame it on the planets. Don't blame Terra Illumination, all right? And so, in order to get through this, look at your life, your world, look at your relationship from a big perspective and just understand that everything is exactly as it should be. Okay? You can't stop these huge transformations. You can't stop them transforming. You can't stop the movement of tectonic plates in your life. Okay? And so it's better to look at it and realize, like, oh my God, I do have something beautiful. It's just that I've never seen my life or love or relationship from this perspective before. And it is a bit disorienting. It might feel as though that like barfy feeling that you get when you go to a huge fairground or something. You think, oh, I want to go on the big ride now. We just did that one and that one. Now I want the big ride. And you go on the big ride thinking you can handle it. And you realize, wait a minute, I'm feeling really queasy because the big ride is literally the big ride. And you're like, oh, whoa. But you have to understand the big ride is designed to be the big ride. Everything is perfectly designed. This is like sacred geometry working for you. Okay, so it's all working for you. It just might be a little bit disorienting. Okay, earth, air, fire, and water, all the energy elements that they use in astrology, they're all working for you. Okay, it's just, it might be a very like big swirly ride right now. Think of this as a plant. We talked about that earlier, I think. Think of this as a big potted plant. This is the pot, and what is growing out of this thing? Okay, so with the Page of Pentacles, let's just say it's a learning process. Okay, like uh, this actually works for you. Even though things might be disorienting and these big shifts and changes that are happening to you might be disorienting, and you might be like, you know how people get on a roller coaster, like, ha 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 ha, ha, whoa, barf. Oh, I want to get off. Whoa, barf. And then the next minute, they get off and they tell everybody, oh, that was an amazing ride. Barf. Um, but again, it's a learning experience. You're under a lot of pressure, okay? Libra, you're under a lot of pressure. The Leo Aquarius stuff is nice, but it's still a lot of pressure because it's a huge stellium over. It's a big pile of energy there. So I think what's happening here, the relationship itself and your life itself is turning out to be kind of a learning experience. Like this big roller coaster, this big shift in the plates is actually taking you to almost like the very limits of your ability to cope, to the point where you're like, you're laughing 1 minute and barfing the next minute. But that's a learning experience, and that's what you need to know. You need to understand these things and know them, and then come back down to earth and reality in your way when you come into Libra season. And you'll realize that, oh, now I understand what Terra Illumination was talking about a couple months ago. You needed to live this thing. You needed to live this thing and understand this thing so that you could figure out what to do in order to how to cleanse and refine and purify your life and expose more and more assets that would otherwise rot on the vine. In other words, if you don't take care of this stuff, Libra, it just turns into rotten, wasted fruits, vegetables, growth, whatever. So you have to do the pruning, you have to do all of that, and it's coming at you. It might be coming in an uncomfortable, bizarre way you couldn't have ever predicted, but it's there and probably happening in the context of relationship as well, perhaps catalyzed by the relationship, but it is good for you. It's ultimately wholesome and good for you. Think of it as a learning curve, okay? All right, I'm going to pull a little oracle now. This is the Romance Angels deck, okay? And we're going to read from the book in a little moment because it's fun, and I'm hoping it resonates with you. I hope this reading resonates with you, Libra. You get something out of it. Just the process here. We're just going to pick one card for you and go for it. And this will just add a little bit of a nuance to your reading. I hope you enjoy the mixture of the astrology and the tarot together. I really like doing it this way. I'm going to pull your card in just a second. You just have to kind of trust the process. Here it is. This is your card. It says, let go of control issues. Okay? It's a pretty blunt message. Allow this situation or your situations to unfold naturally, okay? So, in other words, the way before we even read from the book, when things get really, really challenging, like for example, because you're under so much pressure over here from the eclipses that just happened, this is in hard angles to you, and then you get slammed with this beautiful energy here, that's great. And then you get slammed with this energy here, which could be really uncomfortable later in the month and into September. So it's really like this. And the more challenging these energies are, the more likely that you are to want to control them, especially if you feel that it's whatever's not working for you is because of somebody else. That's normal. It's very, very common for whatever's not working in our lives to blame somebody or something else. Anyway, let me read from the book, and this hopefully will provide some relief for you. Wow, we went straight to the page. How cool is that? Let's see. It says here, the romance angels have heard your prayers about your love life. Now it's up to you to allow their help to manifest by stepping out of their way. By trying to control other people or external circumstances or a particular person, you will only frustrate yourself and slow down your answered prayer and your own evolution. There are plenty of times in life that call you for you to take charge, but this is not one of them. Of course, it's fine to have your preferences, your practice visualizations, and do all your, life get it together modality training camps and everything. All that stuff, setting your intentions on the lunar new moons, all that stuff's great. And definitely ask the angels for your desires. This card is a reminder, however, that your prayer may be answered differently from what you had in mind. Gulp. Be open to all possibilities and trust in God's infinite wisdom and compassionate love. Control issues are based upon fears that others, including God, won't live up to your expectations. I'm going to keep it simpler. Control issues are based upon fear. Okay? Get it? I'll read this part again. Control issues are based upon fears that others, including God, won't live up to your expectations. This is also what they call outlining. I'm new to this. So, where you hand the universe a script of how you want it and your life and everything to everyone to behave according to your screenplay. Okay? It doesn't really work like that, though. Outlining can cause you to overlook an even more beautiful way in which your prayers may be answered. In other words, control issues are actually strangling the potential for a bigger, broader, more beautiful way to happen. Okay, why suffocate yourself when there's so much more out there? So please call upon the romance angels to elevate your levels of trust so that you can enjoy the creative avenues by which true love comes to you. So honestly, Libra, to me, this feels like it's kind of a very uncomfortable, wobbly learning curve. One minute you're up, one minute you're down. Understanding and being aware about how much love there is, but how do you define love going forward? It might not be anything like what you thought or expected because this is very profound shifts and changes over here. And with the Leo Aquarius axis, I do see it very much to do with a platonic type of thing going on. So anyway, I hope that helps you, Libra. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to check out with you now because I did that with everybody else just to make it a little more personal, okay? And to say goodbye professionally. Okay, here we are. Hi, Libra. This is Terra Illumination. Thank you for being here. You can probably tell it's very hot here in the studio. There's a bunch of lights going on. I can't run any fans or conditioners because it messes up the sound. That's just how it works. So I hope that made sense for you. I hope you get something out of it. Please subscribe. And when you subscribe, press the bell. Click the bell. That's how you get your information. Subscribing is useless unless you click the bell. I mean, I love having subscribers. I need every single one. But without clicking the bell, nothing happens. Thank you very much for being here. I hope I didn't scare you away. Have a fantastic month. So hope to see you again in September and especially in October, okay? That's Libra season. Actually, Libra season kicks in towards the end of September. But you knew that, all right? Okay. See you guys soon. Bye.